Lisa Gareau has lived a life that has both informed and inspired her work as a connection strategy coach. Since founding Candy Event Consulting in 2008, she has helped guide thousands of planners and their teams to build more meaningful connections with their customers, clients, and community members. Let's listen in as she shares some of her life lessons and how those lessons have set the foundation for her new course and community, the Connection Architect Program.
My daughter must have been in grade 2 or grade 3 when she asked me the question, do I ever get homesick? It kind of caught me off guard because I had moved a couple of times before my girls were born, and we had moved a couple of times since they were born. And we were right in the middle of a move, a pretty intense move from Edmonton to Winnipeg. The question, do I ever get homesick, caught me off guard because I really felt that so many places in my life felt like home. And it wasn't about the house. It wasn't about even the community. It wasn't about what we had in that house, but it was the relationships that were being built, the friendships that were made, and the feeling of belonging I felt with certain groups of people. We were on another move. I had counted the number of moves that I had in my adult life, and there were over 11 moves. That's a lot of packing, a lot of duct tape, and a lot of time in U-Hauls and trailers and muscling up to get that armoire down one more time down the stairs. The idea of having a structure around you, the safety, the security, the walls, the rooms, all of that helps to feed into our sense of stability. In the moves that we did over the years, some were deliberate, some we chose, some were just thrust upon us because of life situations. But in these moves with my girls, the things that I started to learn about what makes a house, a home, became very important to me. When we left Edmonton, we were leaving a house that we built. We decided where it would be, where in the city did we want to live. We decided how big it would be. We decided what kind of material would it be built of. We decided where the rooms were and lots of storage for our growing family. It wasn't a big house, but it was our house. And in developing the plans for that home, we learned what it took to actually put a house, a physical house together. And in remembering my growing up, I remembered that a house doesn't actually become a home until the people within that home make it that way. There are ways to create a feeling of home. It can be the people you invite over. It can be the essence you create through the pictures you love, through the plants that you try to keep alive, through the food that you cook. All of those things make that house a home. And when we were leaving Edmonton to move to Winnipeg, I was moving my girls and myself away from a difficult situation into what could be possibilities for our future. We packed up the van with everything we could carry. We had our animals, a hamster, a guinea pig, a couple of dogs. They were part of our family, but we picked up and left. And when we arrived in Winnipeg, we were searching for a home. It was important for us to find our feet, and having a physical space that would work for us practically was important. But that house that we chose took some time to feel like a home. When my daughter looked at the baseboards and the handles on the doors and the size of the kitchen, she felt that we weren't home. But over the time that we had there, she started to see what home actually meant. In our discussions around what makes your room, your house, your kitchen a home, it is all about the relationships we're building. In that period of time, I was still planning and promoting events When we landed in Winnipeg, I started working for an organization using my event planning and promotion skills to help this organization expand their reach, find new ways to connect with a new community, and deepen the relationships they had with their current donors. When I looked at our world and the home I was trying to build for myself and my girls, and looking at my work and what I was trying to do with this team to really build an atmosphere of engagement with the people that mattered to them, I saw so many similarities. There were so many ways that I was trying to create connections in my home. There were so many ways I was trying to create connections with the people we were trying to serve in this organization. When I was living both of these sides of my life at that time, going through a lot of challenges in my life, but at the same time building a home for myself and my girls, I was professionally working to bring people together so that they could connect better with the organization's goals and plans for the future. We as event planners have an opportunity to bring people together to find that common ground. It can happen when we intentionally start to build places for people to connect, ways for people to be heard and seen and considered. It is exactly the same energy that we bring to our homes when we start to move from building a house to creating a sense of belonging and a home for our families. Professionally, when we plan events, we need the structure, we need a framework, we need to have this set of non-negotiables that is going to hold this building up, hold this event up. In our lives, we set goals, we work from our strengths, we look for our purpose in life. Maybe we're looking back at our history. Where did we find wins? What are we good at? And how can we apply those? Exactly the same framework can be applied to your events. When we talk about a framework for events, it's about the goals and the strengths of your team, the strengths of your organization or your company. We talk about the purpose. Why are you there? Why was this created in the first place? It didn't happen by accident. And then we look at the history. Where did you find wins with this organization? Where have you been able to significantly move forward with your company? Where has your team been able to lean in and really get to the heart of the planning and do an incredible job? When we talk about the framework for a house, you want it to be strong. You want to have those load-bearing walls. You want it on ground that is going to be solid for the years to come. The same thing is true with our events. You want to set that framework in a way that it is going to hold your connection strong for the weeks and the months and the years to come. The fact that I moved a lot in life, and as you heard in part 1 of this 4-part series, I come from a family of travelers. I had a mom and dad who lived in several places because their mission took them there. I learned that when we put ourselves in new situations, we're not just giving up what came before, but we're building on the experiences that we've had. And so when my daughter asked me when she was so young if I ever felt homesick, my answer was, for what home? I felt that there were so many communities of people, not even just here in Canada where we physically landed, where we actually lived, but in the times that I had traveling the world and the people that I made very deep and beautiful connections with, even before social media was a thing, you knew that you were connected. We built a house when my girls were young for them to live in. And when we started to build our house, I believed we were crafting something that we could then apply the feeling of home and belonging and future to that place. Building a life, building your legacy in your career. I believe that it all takes purpose, intention, and a clear understanding of the outcomes that you desire. In level 2 of the Connection Architect program, we talk about setting that framework for your event. What does it actually mean to make meaningful connections? I talk about, using the house analogy, moving from building the physical building to creating that sense of home, the sense of belonging, the sense of connection in every event that you plan. Sometimes I'm asked when I'm with a business group or if I'm presenting to a team of people that are planning and promoting their own events, they'll ask me, what is the biggest event I've ever planned? What is the most expensive event I've ever put together? The way that I translate the question is, what event has been most meaningful to me? What event has actually made the most impact in the community? What event made their partners and the people at the event feel like this was home? That's when your events start becoming connection points for your customers or clients or your group members. It is not about the biggest, the flashiest, the most expensive, the one that is off the charts and winning all the awards. That is not what matters. Depending on your business goals, depending on your nonprofit's impact statement, depending on the people that you are longing, wishing, and skilling up to serve, your event must meet them and connect with them in a way that matters. It may not be the biggest, the flashiest, the most expensive, or the most talked about event in town, but it might be the most meaningful for the people that you are looking to serve. I believe that life isn't something that happens to us. I believe it's something we build with purpose, with intention, with a clear understanding of the outcomes. I believe we can create that feeling of belonging and home through our events. But it all starts with a very strong framework. It starts with the stability in the ground of our non-negotiables. We need to understand what it is, the goals, the strengths we bring to the table, our purpose, the history, the wins that we've had, and where we are truly going in our connections. We need to set our framework with that in mind. We've set the foundation, and when we put this frame together, it will start to define what is going to be going on in our home. When we set the framework and it is well designed, we will have room for what we need for our teams, for innovation, for new ideas, for actual results to be felt. Within that framework, we will be able to add all sorts of engaging elements, all sorts of pictures and plants and pets. And it will create the space for your event to stand out to the people that matter to you. In level 2, I talk about the staircase. So this is about the steps that you need to take, the relationship you need to build to make the invitation to your ideal guests. I talk about a red carpet being the way guests can be seen. When we invite guests to our event, we need to roll out that red carpet. Guests want to be seen. They want to know that when they enter, that there will be a warmth and a hospitality there. We talk about the awning. This is about really highlighting who you are and why you're there. So when people look at your building, they know why you're there and they'll be excited to attend. We also talk about the doorway. It is that open, welcome, inclusive entrance to what you have planned for your guests. Life has moved on since those many, many moves. And now if my daughter was to ask me, do I ever feel homesick? I probably would feel the same way. I would probably say, for which home? Because I still feel the attachment to so many amazing people and so many amazing experiences in my past. And as I talk about so often with my event planning, coaching clients, every one of those events, every one of those connecting points matters. We can keep building new homes. We can keep building new places to live. We can keep building events that matter. We can start bringing in our experiences into what's next. We can remember with fondness those relationships we built, and we can revisit them for what's coming up next. When I talk about framing your event experience, it comes right back to my passion to see event planners and their teams embrace their brilliance, activate their experience, and create really strong connections, ongoing year after year connections that matter.
Meaningful connections matter now more than ever. Your community, clients, or customers are ready to connect. Are you ready to be their connector? Events can grow your business, create an impact in your community, or motivate a group around your ideas. The Connection Architect course and community is for the everyday event planner that is ready to create connections that matter. Sound like you? Start building at theconnectionarchitect.ca.